Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
Parles-tu français? Hablas español? Parli italiano? If you've used Babbel, you would. Babbel's conversation-based techniques teaches you useful words and phrases to get you speaking quickly about the things you actually talk about in the real world. With lessons handcrafted by over 200 language experts and voiced by real native speakers, Babbel is like having a private tutor in your pocket. Start speaking with Babbel today. Get up to 55% off your Babbel subscription right now at babbel.com/Wondery. Spelled BABBEL.com/Wondery. Rules and restrictions may apply.
Welcome back to Gopher's Workshop. I am your host, Aaron, and joining me, as always, sitting there eating a cookie, it's Chris.
It's Christmas time. It's a Christmas cookie.
Christmas cookie.
I'm being appropriately holiday.
Appropriate. You know what? In my many years on this planet, nobody has ever referred to it as I'm being appropriate holiday.
Oh, let me paraphrase. I'm being a fat kid.
Insert holiday here. Well, Chris, today's episode, speaking of holidays, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, there's been a bunch of discussions that I've had with customers and team members, etc., as well as some YouTube videos that I watched that have kind of sparked similar conversations. We kind of got it in two parts. So for the first part, for this episode, it has a lot to do with the affordability of playing 40K or getting into 40K. Let me start by saying the game is expensive. I totally get it, but it's expensive to get into. It's not necessarily expensive to maintain. Here's what I mean by that. Going from I don't own any models to playing 2,000 points is not necessarily cheap, right? You have to buy like a real amount of models. And there's things you can do to make it more affordable. We talked in a previous episode about using like JPI and the upgrade kits to make suppressors instead of buying the big expensive like 3-kit box that you didn't actually want all that stuff. It's Christmas time, so like the holiday boxes, which are hard to get a hold of, but are usually a pretty good discount. Not only are the boxes a discount, but then like we discount them further. By the time you get our 15% on top of GW's discount on the box, you're actually getting like, you know, what, $70 off of all the stuff that you get in the box, like kind of net total or something like that. I don't exactly know that $70 is the number, but it's roundabout something like that. So there are ways to make it more affordable, but the initial buy-in is still a real amount of dollars. However, if you compare them to other games, so let's say your average nerd also plays, let's say, Magic, right? Or at least they did at one point. Well, Magic decks are also not cheap if you buy the good ones. Regardless of that, the argument that you hear from most current Magic players is that, well, this deck is still way cheaper than 2,000 points worth of plastic, right? No, you're not wrong. But you know the main difference between the two? We could talk about like retaining value, right? Of like the cards go from being $40 a card this week to like $10 a card next week. Okay, that sucks. But I don't even want to like have that discussion. It's more about you built a deck that cost you like $200, let's say, just making up numbers here. Well, that deck, in theory, is supposed to be good forever, right? Because unless they ban a card, like it's still technically playable. But what's the reality of that situation? Like 2 new sets have come out because of power creep, blah, blah, blah. You're like way behind now. And while it is still technically playable, if other people are keeping up with the new sets, you are falling behind and you're not necessarily actually keeping up or playable. 40K, on the other hand, yes, points changes and, things get updated to this is more powerful than that. But as much as all that's true, the reality is like, you've got pretty solid value. At no real point, the fact that I have a Brutalis Dreadnought, does the Brutalis Dreadnought feel like it's so underpowered that it's not actually playable, even if it's technically legal, right? Like, sure, maybe because of the models I own, I feel obligated to play certain detachments over others because my models, I've got a ton of tanks. I'm probably playing Iron Storm. I don't have any vehicles. Well, I'm probably playing this other attachment. It's not even that like there aren't some restrictions to having a limited pool of models, but it is pretty cheap to maintain. By the time that I have 2,000 points of whatever it is, Marines, Necrons, something, right? The reality is like, I'm going to buy like one kit, let's say a quarter. I'm going to spend $60 every 3 months with the points update to get like one thing slightly different because of the point changes. And that's assuming I get cheaper every time, which won't be true.
No.
But like, if I get cheaper every time, I got to buy another unit. If I get more expensive, I'm actually taking things out of my list. I don't need to buy anything. Will I still buy stuff? Probably, right? But that's because I want something to keep myself busy with the hobbying or the whatever else. I want to try something different. But the game, like once you're at a certain threshold, the game is very affordable. And it is more affordable than even your average person's video game like budget, right?
You right.
I mean, like nowadays, you're spending $70 on Battlefield or something. And then after like 2 weeks of playing it nonstop because you think it's the coolest, you get burnt out.
Yep.
And now what do I do? Right? Models, I buy a $60, $70 kit. I've got 1 week of I'm not even playing with it. I'm building, I'm painting. I still got to go to work and stuff, right? So it's like I'm just doing it at night, having a good time. Well, now that I spent a whole week doing that, now I get to play, let's say 2 games next week. I've got the same 2 weeks into the same amount of dollars, and I've played 2 games, and it turns out I'm not bored of them yet. I'm probably getting more games in. And it's not like video games where there's plenty of times where we play video games and they kind of get unsupported after a while, or, in order to keep playing some of the new stuff, you have to buy the DLC. Like this $60 kit I bought, it entertained me for hours before I even started playing. And now that I'm playing with it, it doesn't go bad. Sure, certain units get legends, but also for the most part, not entirely, but for the most part, they telegraph pretty hard what it is they're going to legends, right? Is it still made of resin? Okay, it's probably getting legends. Is it made of plastic? Have we put the kit out in the last 3-4 years? Probably not. Right? Like some of the plastic kits are getting legends, but also those plastic kits came out in like 2002.
Yeah.
Are you really that upset by they legend something that's 20 plus years old? Now, with that in mind, again, affordability. When they legends these things, it turns out that's your prime opportunity to save money. Yes, that tank that was put out 20 years ago got legends. But it turns out if I take that same tank, now that it's been legends, it's cheap as hell, right? I could get some extra bits. I could convert it from being a Razorback that no longer has these options to, oh, look, now it's a Predator. Or I take that Predator and then I put some extra bits on it and now it's a Gladiator. It turns out the Gladiator and the Predator are not that different in size. They are slightly different. They have different, like, war gear. But also, to switch out the las cannon sponsons on a Predator to a couple of Stormbolters strapped to the front. Let's be honest, I could hobby for a weekend, and that, not even like the whole weekend, just like a day. And I could make that look pretty reasonable. So, one of the biggest things I want to hit across this whole part, the game is affordable if you are willing to put in the time. If you are not into hobbying, I'll just say it, if you're kind of lazy when it comes to hobbying, the reality is you're paying a cost for that, right? The convenience of, I'll just buy a new model instead of magnetizing. You're right. That makes it somewhat easier as far as skill is concerned, right? Because I just follow the instructions, no thought in my head. Look, I have the two different war gear options now. Or I could partially build it. I could recognize that if I put in a little outside thought, a little practice, a little skill with magnets, now I don't need to buy a second knight. Why? Because I can just swap the arms on the knight, and now it's, I can ally it into this other faction as a different thing.
Yep.
And it works just fine. That is probably one of the biggest things. Now, I'm not going to call anyone out. Part of the reason this came up is because somebody sent me a YouTube video from someone else where the YouTuber was kind of losing their mind about the cost of GW and how things are going up. And you know what? I don't disagree with them, right? Prices are going up.
Yeah.
Their pricing structure is a little crazy because every time they do, like, they redo a model kit, the price goes up. Some of these kits that are 20 plus years old, why is the price increasing? It's not even like you have design cost anymore, right? It's been 20 plus years. You covered your design cost. I'm not saying the game isn't expensive. But one of their big arguments in the video was that Darkwater that just came out, the Warhammer Quest, was way too expensive. I don't know if you looked at that box for more than like 2 minutes.
I have not.
There's a lot in there. First off, it's probably by weight the heaviest GW product we've ever sold.
Really?
I'm not even joking. It's like a single box, no alterations. It's heavy as hell. So if you look at the box just generically, you assume it's kind of like Underworlds, which, to be fair, you're not that far off. So you assume there's going to be like a normal GW board game. There's going to be like a dozen models, right? Nope, try like 3 dozen. I'm not saying it's actually 3 dozen, but I don't remember the exact model count, but there are probably close to 2 dozen bad guys. Not even the hero characters, just bad guys.
Okay, I've got the numbers pulled up here for you.
Mm-hmm.
49 push fit models.
Way more than 3 dozen. All right, got it.
Yeah.
Like, first off, we're talking about, I'm not sure that there's a non-unique sculpt in that whole thing. I'm pretty sure every model is unique. Then it's all push fit because it's a board game. They're trying to get people into it, right? I have no problem with that. But 49 models?
7 heroes, 4 villains, 33 enemies, 14 pox wretches. Sorry, that's the breakdown. 33 enemies, 2 treasure tokens, and 2 living rot tokens.
Yep. So the tokens, let's just ignore them, right? Let's assume they don't even count. We're still talking close to 40 models.
Yeah.
That's a lot. How many people right this second would be willing to drop over $200 to get the Iron Halo Christmas box? And don't get me wrong, there's big vehicles in there, but also the strict weight and volume of plastic in that Iron Halo box, easily a third of the amount of plastic that's in this box. And the price isn't that different. So is Warhammer Quest really that expensive? Now, you can take it a step further, right? Now we get past all these unique models, all these models that are, first off, look fucking dope. But like, you get past all these models, they didn't throw in like a cardboard fold out map like they do with the others. That's just kind of like here's a cheap thing and cool, whatever. And that adds a bunch of weight, right? Because it's all cardboard. No, if you look at it, it turns out they put in a book, a giant oversized specialty size book where you open, and the open pages are your map. You want to change maps? You turn a single page, here's a new map. You turn another page, here's a new map. Like, I'm not saying everyone should go buy Warhammer Quest, but it seems like the internet kind of as a whole is losing their mind over the price of the Warhammer Quest box. And I will jump on board with every single one of them to say that certain things about GW's pricing are nuts. But I'm lost as to how this is the thing we decided to be upset about when this seems like one of the most reasonable pricings I've seen from them in a long time. You want to bitch up and down about like the Tau Christmas box. I'm not saying you didn't save money. You definitely saved money. But also, compared to even 3 years ago, you're getting less models and the price is higher. Mm-hmm. You want to lose your mind over the Christmas boxes about not having enough plastic, about them being too expensive for getting reduced models. I'll absolutely be on board with you.
Total shrinkflation there, right?
Yep. I will absolutely be on your side, and I will complain up and down about how, again, Christmas boxes are still a good deal. They're kind of the best deal GW puts out, but the deal is way worse than it used to be, right? I have no idea what we're losing our mind over for the Darkwater box. I don't even play Age of Sigmar like ever. The most I'll do is a Spearhead just because I prefer sci-fi stuff, right? That's my personal preference for aesthetic. This Warhammer Quest box, if I was a heretic, and I'm not, I would absolutely, in a heartbeat, say, fuck the whole game. I want that Warhammer Quest box because it's a deal for the number of Poxwalkers, Plague Bearers, Lord of Contagions, proxies, like every model in there is dope. I have no problem with the Warhammer Quest box. I have no idea why everyone's so upset about it. I'll be honest, I'm glad that we didn't get more than we got because everyone's upset with it. But I'm still confused as to why I didn't feel comfortable getting more, because after I saw how many models were in there and how literally every model is unique sculpt, it is such a good buy. Again, I'm not even saying you have to like Warhammer Quest. First off, you're buying a game, you should try it out. But the number of people that I think, like, you play Death Guard, you play Nurgle Demons, no, this is a hell of a box for you. You buy it, you sell off all the Imperial stuff, or the non-Chaos stuff, I should say, to the AOS players, to the fantasy players, so they get these sweet models, and then you keep what's left over for all your Plague Bearers, Poxwalkers. Again, like, you want a Herald of Nurgle, like, all those models are awesome. Honestly, the one guy who's got like the maggot slug thing, that looks like what's his goofy ass name? The Sloppity Bile Piper, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's an alt sculpt for him, and it looks awesome. I have no idea what people are upset about. Again, getting into 40K is expensive. Switching factions effectively is getting into the game again, depending on which factions you're going to and from. Right? If you stick to the Imperium, the argument is like, well, I'm going from Marines to Knights. Well, it turns out the first Knight is playable with your Marines, so you could argue that it's like a better buy than usual.
Yep.
Because it applies to both factions. As you buy more Knights, it gives your Marines more options. Like, you can kind of make some arguments of like getting into a new faction isn't hard starting over, but also, yeah, you played Thousand Suns, and now you're going to go play Tau. You're basically starting over. I get it. I do not understand why people give 40K such a hard time about the expense. And to be fair, again, it's not that it's not expensive. It's that like, well, no, part of the reason it's so expensive is because you didn't magnetize any of your models. It turns out you own 5 Land Raiders. Why in the goddamn world do you need 5 Land Raiders? You could have gotten 2, spent a little bit of time hobbying, trade some bits with your buddies.
Yep.
And now you have 2 of literally any variant you want. That's really not... That saves me a mountain of money. But I got lazy, right? Because I got lazy and I didn't want to I didn't think about trading bits with my buddies, or I didn't want to put in the time magnetizing because I'm not sure how to do it exactly. Well, I could have asked somebody, but I didn't. I just bought another model. Okay, well now do you really get to complain about the price of Land Raiders when you bought 5 and you could have gotten away with 2? And we're talking about like the completionist stuff, right? Like your normal person doesn't own more than 1. Also, the minute you decide to be a completionist, like, are you ever going to run 6 squads of 10 intercessors? No.
No.
You're not. But also, if you buy more intercessors because I could run that many because you're being a completionist, again, I don't have a problem with that. But also, when you do that, you don't get to complain about the price because you're buying stuff that you just objectively not only don't need for any individual list, but you will likely never need for any list. Now, the same thing goes with the hobby aspect, right? The number of people I've seen, and to be fair, even me and you are running into this a bit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I own multiple gladiators. You don't own a gladiator.
Yeah.
The answer is, if we weren't doing the recording stuff, why would you buy a gladiator? Unless we're both playing in the same event, which because of work, let's be honest, doesn't really happen.
Yep.
But like, there's no reason for you to buy a gladiator. You just borrow one of mine because we collectively play a lot of Marines.
Yep.
So what if it's not painted white? But you will have, and this isn't just us, right? There are other people that like, they own a bunch of, name a faction, salamanders.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they painted them up as salamanders. So now that the new White Scar guy came out, they want to play White Scars. Do you think that they're going to use their green aggressors in their White Scars list? No, I got to buy new aggressors because they're painted like salamanders. Okay, but do you? Like, this is part of why I encourage new people getting into the game to like pick your own paint scheme. I'm not saying you can't paint the box scheme, but also you have to really like the box scheme. Otherwise, you should pick your own. Because you're just saving yourself money.
Yeah.
Right? This is a long rant, and I'm not actually like trying to give people a hard time. I'm just saying, and this applies to even like the tactics of the game, right? If you are able to take a step back and kind of like take the emotion out of it, take the assumptions that you've made out of it and be like, no, but what's actually going on? GW is pretty reasonable. Again, we sell used models.
Yep.
Go get some used models, man. It turns out it takes a little more hobby time. Maybe you got to spend like an extra, $40 to get one of like the ultrasonic cleaners and strip a couple of models. But also by the time you spend an extra $40, now you can buy a bunch of used stuff. It doesn't matter how crappy it looks, and you can fix it up, and you're going to net save a bunch of dollars in the long run. One of our local guys does it all the time, right? He even offers to strip other people's stuff for them.
He stripped some of my stuff that I've painted. Right? Just because I'm like, I don't like this color scheme anymore. And also I'm going from like a more generic. I'm going to sum it all up for you. We believe it's more expensive because we are allowing ourselves to believe it. We are listening to, and I fell victim to this too when I first started the hobby. We are finding ourselves listening to content creators more often than we should. We are finding ourselves listening to the internet more often than we should. We are listening to other people's opinions in society as a whole more often than we should. And it has led us to this this position where we have misconstrued information.
Mm-hmm.
Are things getting more expensive? Yes. Flat out, across the board,
No
yes.
question.
But is everything becoming more expensive? I would argue, taking into consideration the facts, the new box sets that have come out for Christmas, the new sets in general, they're constantly releasing these weird random like sets to get people in. Not just the Christmas, but they also released like little the throughout the year they released these
The army boxes,
army
with
boxes,
new codexes,
and new codexes,
and
and then you have your why can't I remember the name of it? The box sets, the starter sets.
well, okay, so the combat patrols.
Combat patrols, yeah. So you have your combat patrols. All of these prices have stayed pretty consistent, and honestly, they've also had some pretty decent models in them. Things that are pretty much staples in your army for the most part.
So again, this is where it gets confusing, right? Because the answer is combat patrols have gotten less models and more expensive over the last 4 years. Now, 4 years is a long time, but that's still objectively true. And if you compare that, you can say, well, combat patrols are a bad deal now. They're a bad deal compared to what they used to be. If you compare it to the individual kits, you're still saving money.
Yeah.
It's not that it's not a discount box. It's that the discount isn't as great as it used to be. The Start Collecting boxes were objectively better, totally fair. But as much as they were better, the combat patrols are still a discount. Here's one of my biggest arguments that confuses me, right? Like, I currently run a store, right? So there's an argument to, I should be allowed to be kind of bougie, because if I really wanted to, I could buy some kits at cost.
Yeah.
I have that privilege because I own the business. But even I don't, right?
No.
Even I recognize that, like, no, but there's used models. Why wouldn't I just pay off the shelf price that I would sell to someone else? I'm going to buy these used models, and that's still cheaper than getting like the boxes at cost.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, there was like eBay lots and stuff like that, right? Of you could buy some used models, and presumably a bunch of them were messed up, and you bought a bunch of stuff you didn't really want, but it was only sold in a lot because someone was selling their whole army.
Yep.
Nowadays, there are way more people in the game, objectively, which means, by comparison, there are at any given time way more people selling their old models. And because everyone's trying to compete with each other, because like I'm trying to sell my stuff, but also in order to sell it, I have to like have a price that compares to other people. Selling lots are way less common now. Still happens, but way less common. People are selling by the individual unit. People are selling at more competitive prices. Why, like, if you're a brand new player who is arguably wants to get into 40K, but doesn't for the sole purpose of, but it's too expensive. Why are you buying a new kit at all? Have your first army be used models. Yeah, you got to put in more hobby time.
Yep.
But also, you're buying a bunch of like messed up models. So if you mess up the hobby, who cares? They were already messed up.
Yep.
You can have a good time exploring, trying things out, learning how to magnetize and messing it up and literally throwing the model in the garbage. I don't care. But you bought it all used. I think the amount of people that complain about the pricing aren't fully thinking it through. If you look at strictly sticker price, they've got a totally fair argument. AdMech is kind of the best example, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone complains about AdMech, about how, like, especially after the recent LVO, people are like, oh, only the pro players pay AdMech because they can afford it, blah, blah, blah. Like, you think that they paid buckets of dollars? No, it turns out the internet's unpopularity of AdMech due to its cost has made it to where selling AdMech is currently at a high point. So they bought, before LVO, they bought presumably a bunch of AdMech that people were selling off because no one wanted to play it for cheap.
Mhm.
Some of those guys, at least one of them, I guarantee spent less on his whole AdMech list than you've spent on a single one of your Marine lists. And that's not even to say that like he like only did deals and he made a bad list because that's what's available. No, he had like all the choices in the world. And that's the list he decided, and he still made it.
And that's saying something,
costed.
especially since when I got into this hobby, I did it the cheap way. I bought a combat patrol. That's it. And then I bought everything off of the used model shelf. I spent maybe $500 to get into this hobby. That was even like some of them were even like, I can't say used model shelf, right? Because some of them were even like eBay. Like I bought the eBay special, but like the old box dreadnoughts that nobody was playing anymore. I bought those for like $20.
Mm-hmm.
Still, it cost me less than $500 to get into this. If you're saying they spent less to get in it than I did
for an AdMech list,
that's saying something.
Now, again, I don't know about all of them, right? Like the one guy that did really well specifically with the AdMech, he's like a long-time AdMech player.
Yeah, he's probably
he like
spent them. Yeah,
he got excited when the new thing came out and he bought it at sticker price. And like, I'm not saying people didn't spend a bucket of money on their AdMech list, but I know one guy specifically. No, he bought all of his shit just like secondhand, and because people didn't think it was a good faction, and he just built them up for cheap. And he did spend less than $500 on his whole list, despite it being AdMech, the air quotes most expensive faction in the game. And that's just because he wasn't afraid to put in the hobby time. That's it. That's the whole thing. Like there's whole YouTube channels dedicated to this, right? Like the I'm going to mispronounce it now, but it's like the Hobby Rescues or something like that. That guy's a prime example, right? His whole channel is built around, I bought these models for like $1 a model because it was some unit that's like not exciting or just got a nerf and people are like, it's flooded because it comes in every combat patrol. Like he's buying stuff for cheap. And you know what? After he buys those like dollar intercessors, he has these extra bits, whether it's because he got the bits from buying actual boxes or whether or not he's just, hey, friends, I saw that you just built your blade guard. Can I have your extra bits? Like, that's probably what he's doing, right? To have the collection of bits that he does. And now that he bought these dollar intercessors, he just decided to make blade guard. He just decided to make whatever other stern guard, etc. He's saving mountains of dollars because he's willing to put in the hobby time.
That's what effectively I've switched over to. Is I've got, under the recording studio desk right now, I've got boxes of bits.
Yep.
Piles of bits. And like old Marine bodies and like some weapons from like Sigmar and like we got all kinds of stuff under here, right? I've gone to kit bashing most of my stuff. We even talked about, because I wanted to do the new White Scars list. It's actually cheaper for me to go and get some of the Goliath Maulers from Necromunda and build like some really cool bikes with that. Like it's happening. We're doing it. Yeah, we'll post photos, and
it's not even just a Marine thing. I made the same argument while we were staring at those Necromunda boxes of like, this would go really well for like orc war bikers.
Yeah.
Like it already fits the aesthetic. You just paint the skin green, you like switch out their heads and you're good to go. So yes, again, if you're willing to be creative, GW makes a lot of kits. And it turns out not all of those kits are popular.
Yep.
Some of those kits are arguably popular, but now they're overprinted. Again, intercessors, right? There are plenty of ways that if you want to save some dollars, you can. You just have to be willing to put in the work.
Yep.
Saying that the game is too expensive, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. Again, it's not that it isn't expensive. There's an argument to it's not free. It does cost dollars. That's fair, right? And if you're struggling for, to pay rent, you don't need GW product. That's totally fair. But also if like, no, I'm going to go spend $80 on this collector edition of this game that's in beta and not even out yet. Okay, well, now you don't get to complain about the cost of plastic.
You're right.
Because that same $80 could have gotten you easily 4 different units worth of GW if you're willing to buy used and put in some hobby time. It's really not that bad.
Yeah. Well, I think this is the perfect time for us to take a mid break, and we come back. What else are we going to talk about, Chris?
Oh, all kinds of things. I mean, we'll see where I rant next.
Woo! Well, here we are, Chris. Middle of the episode. What do we do first?
Patrons.
So we have to thank our lovely patrons, starting with our Sergeant. Oh, sorry. God, I messed that all up. The Guardsman patron. We have to thank our Guardsman patron.
Yeah.
Starting with Sergeant Matt's Mini Minutes.
You did it. You achieved it. You got it.
I nailed it. Now we have to thank our White Shield Guardsman patrons, Mitch, Nicodemus, and Tiberius. And of course, our Cerberus Gold patron, Captain Beefalo. Thank you to our patrons. You're lovely. We love you. You're amazing. You make all this possible. Bazinga. I nailed it. I did it. I got through it. So thank you to our patrons. Thank you to our listeners. We love you, and you make all this possible for us. That being said, Chris, you got anything for the mid-break?
Not so much this time. We're going into the Christmas time, so there's going to be actually 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks in a row where GW isn't doing any new releases. This is actually good for everyone. We could use a little break. They have released a lot of stuff, and a lot of big stuff over just a couple of weeks between the Christmas boxes and then Dark Water and all sorts of other things. So, yeah, it's actually kind of good for us. Give us a little time to build up the savings again.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've got nothing else for the mid-break. So, on the note of savings, I'm gonna shamelessly throw us in here.
Do it.
So, if you're looking for some savings for some quick bucks, we're talking about this episode how hobbying is it expensive? ? The answer is especially not when you buy through us, because we do 15% off all GW products all the time, always, forever and always. I don't care if the sun is exploding, still getting 15% off.
That includes Black Library.
Yep.
If you don't see it on our site and you want us to special order it, I'll still get you the discount. Also, for those that are reasonably local, we have a rather large used section.
We do.
While I don't necessarily have all that on the website, if you're local-ish, feel free to stop by, peruse. I've got a ton of used stuff, and that stuff actually has some velocity, right? Yep. It rotates every couple of weeks. There's some things that stick around for a while. There's some things that don't last more than a day. So feel free to stop by and take a look. Also, if you're not local, if you happen to be going to Adepticon or Nova this next year, we will be there with used stuff. So feel free to come check us out specifically. We have good prices, I'll say, and we'll be rocketing through some used stuff at those cons as well.
Yep. And if, you're just listening to us because you love our voices, you don't actually play GW, anything, don't worry, we have everything else too. We do discounts on everything we're allowed to. And I say allowed to because we had a discussion with some distros while at some shows. You said what? How low can I go?
Even not at cons.
Yeah.
I still get emails every so often for like, hey, we changed our map. You're discounting it too much. Shit. I guess I'll change it, I guess.
We're awful. So, yeah. Come check out the website. Link is in the show notes, and gophermafia.com. So go check it out. On that note, let's get back to the last part of our episode.
With so many options, why choose Arizona State University?
For me, the only online option was ASU because of the quality. Their faculty was really involved with their students and care about your personal journey. The dedication to my personal development from my professors, that's been extremely valuable to me.
Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Explore more than 350 plus undergraduate, graduate, and certificate programs at asuonline.asu.edu.
All right, Chris. We're at the end of the end of the episode. The last part of the episode. Ready for this?
I'm ready.
What are we talking about, Chris?
Okay, so since we're talking about making things affordable, we've talked about how to make things affordable personally. Now we get to do a bit of community stuff here. So for this last part, let's start with your local game store. Most of them, and some are better than others to be fair, but most of them, if they support GW, they probably have some table space. And when they have table space, they also supply terrain and mats and things like that. So, well, I'm not saying people like go deep into they're going to get a bunch of their own terrain. Arguably, that's a thing that is a cost to this game that for your average player should be free. Okay. And part of the reason I bring this up is because let's say you don't have a local game store. It turns out it can still be next to free. When you are making terrain, it is much easier to do for cheap than it is to buy all of GW's plastic terrain. Okay. You can, whether it's 3D printing or whatever else, you can, I mean, back in the day, I literally made terrain out of like backs of books and things like that. You can put together old soup cans, right? Like wash it out, take off the label, spray paint it, and then do a little dry brushing, and you can make your own terrain. Okay. Terrain should be free for you, whether you have a local store or not. Furthermore, you have a local group of gamers, right? If you are playing the game at all, you have friends that play. Even if you don't have friends that play, because not all of us have friends, you still have other people in your community that play. Okay? Don't be afraid to talk to them. Even if they don't play your faction, the number of people that you can go up to and like, you're building your White Scar guys, right? Your ability to go up to the Custodes players and be like, hey, do you have extra spears you're not using? Like, just trade bits. The number of people who have extra bits and they don't even want to trade. You ask for a las cannon bit and they're like, yeah, I got it sitting around here. Take it. Just get extra bits. Intercessors are as cheap at like 50 cents a piece, $1 a piece. You can get intercessors out the wazoo. All you have to do is ask for chain swords and you can make them assault intercessors. You can ask for the old firstborn shields, and while they'll look a little goofy, you can totally make blade guard. You can, like, the list goes on, right? You can take heavy weapons and put them on intercessors, and now, yeah, they're Primaris, but also you could make old dev squads for cheap as chips, right?
Yeah.
Ask the number of people who have extra Phobos guys. Well, they bought the infiltrators and they built their 5-man and they don't need the other 5-man. So they're willing to sell it to you for cheap because they got what they wanted, right? Now, not only could you buy infiltrators off them, but let's say you already have infiltrators. Well, now that you have these Phobos guys, a couple of bit swaps, and now I've made some really cheap scouts. Instead of buying the big expensive kill team box, I don't know, it's that expensive, but instead of buying a kill team box of scouts, take the Phobos guys. Like, put some different arms on them. Don't put the big shoulder pads so that they look smaller armored. You know, find one extra heavy weapon for them. You can make cheap scouts. All of this applies, right? Trade bits with people. There are going to be times where we have an upgrade sprue that came out of the Iron Halo box, right? All it is heads. That's it. But do you know what that actually means? It means I have a mountain of bits for, hey, Ultramarine player, I got some brooms on heads for you. And hey, Salamanders player, I have some like no head guys, because then you can paint like the Onyx skin and make them look Salamanders. And like, again, it comes with some Terminator heads on there. So it's like, you know, again, hey, Imperial Fist guy, you want to head swap because you don't like the darn ass not wearing a helmet? Like, I got a head swap with an actual Terminator helmet. List goes on. Trade bits. It saves you mountains of dollars. Yes, it means you got to put in a little extra work. But again, what's your time worth? That's one of the biggest arguments of people complain about how expensive GW is, but what's your time worth? And the easy answer that most people are going to say is like, oh, well, my time's worth like $15 an hour. If it's going to take me 2 hours to do a thing, why wouldn't I just buy a new model? Sure, I get it. But if that's your argument, you don't get to complain about the price of plastic. My time is worth nothing. How do I know that? Because I was going to be sitting in front of the TV doing not shit for the next 4 hours anyway. I might as well be building while I'm doing that. I might as well be painting while I'm doing that. My time is in effect free. If I'm willing to put some music on while I've got like dinner in the crock pot going and I'm just hanging out, why not build a dude? Why not kit bash a dude specifically?
Yep.
Again, I said it in the previous episode. Why buy characters? If they're not named, do not buy lieutenants. Lieutenants just went down a bunch of points. There's a bunch of people that need lieutenants right now, right? They're editing their list. They're putting lieutenants in. Why are you buying lieutenants? You have an intercessor body. Pop that head off, pop that arm off, swap some more gear, like paint an extra fancy like shoulder pad, go through your bits box, find some of the purity seals and glue them on him to show that he's the leader guy. Like, just kit bash. I'm not saying characters don't have cool poses and they aren't cool. All the epic characters, right? Like, I'm still going to buy the named Phobos Captain, you know, Ethan Shawn because he looks fucking dope. I'm still going to buy the, you know, the named librarian Tig or whatever because he looks cool.
Yep.
Those are epic characters. All your generic characters, save money. And if you don't save money, that's cool. Buy the specific model, have fun building those things because now you like, that's what they're designed for, is for you to enjoy those sculpts. But also, don't complain about the price when you decide to spend $45 on a single model when you could have in effect spent $5.
That happens all the time.
It does. And again, I'm not throwing shade at the people who do that, right? If you like the way the like Primaris librarian looks because he's got like a sweet cape and he's got like the psychic hood and like you think it would be too hard to kit bash that, that's fine, man. I have no problem with you playing that guy. Also, do you know how easy it is to create a psychic hood out of like a Terminator front piece? All the Terminator chest pieces have that like hood that goes over them to where like the Terminator head kind of sits inside. It's really not hard to make the psychic hood on a Primaris body. Even the Gravis guys, right? Like the Gravis guys have like the big collars on the top of the chest pieces. It's really not that hard to, and that's just like psychic hood, right? Again, this applies to all kinds of factions. Marines are the easy answer because everyone knows what they look like. But you're a Votann player. Why are you buying Burry? Burry's fucking sweet. If you buy him because you think his model looks awesome, no complaints. It does. I agree. But do you know how easy it would be to take one of your regular Votann guys and get a spear from a Custodes player and get an extra Tyranid warrior head from a Tyranid player? That's like the only 2 bits you need. You put the big Tyranid head on his back, you give him a spear in his hand instead, and then you paint it up to match Burry. Like, it's really not hard. Do not spend $50 on Burry and then complain about his price. You spend $50 on Burry, enjoy the model, have a great time. You want to complain about the price? You could have spent no less than $5 on what is in effect a regular guy with upgrade bits that you got for free from your friends. I guarantee I will bet money. I will bet you a whole new in-box Bury. If you go to your custodes Fred, he has extra spears sitting around. I guarantee it.
There's a whole argument here of the middle ground, right? Like, I know I shouldn't complain that it's expensive, especially since I'm choosing to get the thing because I think it looks cool.
Yep.
But also, it still doesn't feel good to pay this much for plastic bits. I understand there's a solid argument there. But also, this goes into what I was saying earlier. Everything's gotten more expensive. It's not just the plastic dollies. It's
Right.
everything. So, this is just how things work. We have to get in this mentality as people who play this hobby of this is just how things work. As things get older and things progress, new molds, new tactics of building these plastic dollies. You know, there's new skill sets that are involved. Like, things get more expensive to produce.
Again, I think, okay, while you are technically correct, I think it's the how you view that answer. Right? The way you're saying that kind of bothers me because it's you don't just accept that this is the thing.
No,
right?
yeah.
But you can have the right mentality of like, but I'm making the choice.
Yeah.
I'm making the choice to spend $40 on a single model because I like that character sculpt. If I'm making that choice, now it doesn't feel bad that it's $40 because I knew I had the choice to kit bash what is in effect something very similar. Also, if I make the choice of that's too expensive, that's totally okay. You can totally decide that, you know what, I'm not going to buy that guy because I think that's too expensive for what he is.
Sure.
He's just a generic lieutenant. I don't care. I can go buy a used model. I can go buy a regular intercessor. I can go buy a regular like infiltrator or incursor, and I can kit bash a couple of arms.
Sure.
And it's, if I'm making the choice, the price seems more reasonable.
Sure.
It's not even that the price is crazy.
But it's not a matter of whether it's reasonable or not. What I'm getting at is there are those people out there that say, even though it's more reasonable because I made the choice, and I understand I don't get to complain, still doesn't feel the greatest. The thing that was 5 years ago was like $40 is now $55.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still riding the fence here and letting those people know this isn't for you. This isn't a call out session. This isn't supposed to be a yell at you're doing it wrong. It's a, for the people who are shouting it's too expensive, there's no alternative.
It's
Here's
just
an alternative. That's what we're giving you in this episode.
It's just kind of a reality check.
Yeah.
Because again, as I said earlier, I will totally support those people that are saying it's too expensive.
Yeah.
If you're targeting the right thing, right? If
Absolutely.
we want to collectively just lose our little minds over the Christmas boxes this year of the price went up and there's less models, I will, with you right now, complain about how the deal is becoming less of a deal. I'm right next to you. I am going to acknowledge, right? I'm not going to lie to myself and say that they aren't still a discount box.
Yeah.
That they aren't arguably still the best discount box that GW does all year. I'm going to acknowledge the reality of what they are.
Yep.
But also, again, I'm right with you, man. If Christmas boxes keep going this direction, then how many years until
They just
you
aren't a
don't
deal
even
anymore.
get a discount, right?
Yeah. And again, that's the whole concept of this is this whole episode has been here's an alternative option for you.
Mhm.
I hear you. You're saying things are too expensive. Here's some alternative choices. Here's some alternative options. Here are things you can do to make it more affordable.
Correct.
That's all this episode has been.
Correct. And that's kind of our goal, right? We
Yeah.
want to make this game accessible,
Yeah,
not
absolutely.
only for dollars, which is what we're trying to do now, but
Mhm.
also for tactics, right?
Yeah.
We're trying to paraphrase. We're trying to help people understand the different rules and
Mhm.
how they work so that they're not struggling so much so that they can get to the same competitive level as
Yep.
the guys they're playing against or whatever else.
So I said, we are not here to pass judgment or yell off the mountaintops. We're here to make it accessible and easy for you in all aspects of the game, the affordability rules and everything. So with that being said, Chris, you got anything else to say?
always. Also, probably not this episode.
Well, on that note, I got nothing else to say. So thank you all for listening. Tune in next week. Hey, everybody. It's Aaron. I want to thank you again for tuning in for this episode of Gopher's Workshop with us, hanging out and listening. Remember, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you think. And if you feel like supporting us, you can always go to Patreon in the show notes below. Thanks. Till next time.